Today's show, we're going to be talking about the Multicultural Center of Marin's program, Presente program, and the upcoming Presente alumni program. We have two amazing guests joining us, Ergida Reyes and Jessica Lucas. Ergida is studying biochemistry, human biology, and society at UCLA, and Jessica is a senior at Marin's Community School. Welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Hello, everyone. My name is Ergida Reyes. I'm doing great. Thank you for joining and inviting us over here.
Of course.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Lucas, and I'm doing good.
Okay, thank you, guys. I'm also doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good, too. And I know for both of you, it is, I think, your first time being here. So we're very grateful. And the nerves might be like, every time I come on the show, I always get nervous. So I'm with you guys. So one of the things that we do here on Tay to kind of make ourselves comfortable, not dive into the conversation really quick, is having an icebreaker question. Mm-hmm. And so my icebreaker question today is, are you guys watching the Women's World Cup? Any of you?
I am definitely not, unfortunately.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Really? Okay.
I have no clue.
I'm not either.
Interesting. Well, I decided to bring it up because the World Cup game is the most popular one, where the men, compete for the World Cup in soccer. But there's also the Women's World Cup. So it's just women from different countries. And so the teams that are remaining right now are Spain, Sweden, Colombia, France, and Australia, and England. Anyways, I just wanted to share that.
Are you keeping up?
I am. Oh. It's kind of interesting. I think the girls play, or the women play with so much passion. And I love to watch that passion, how they play. Like sometimes I get emotional because like for them scoring a goal, a lot of them are breaking history. For example, Colombia, it's the first time that they've passed the knockout stage. And so their goals have meant so much to them, breaking, and making history. And it kind of inspires me to look at my life and kind of break what history am I making in my family?
Yeah.
For example, I don't know about you, like UCLA, are you the first in your family? Did your parents go to college?
My parents did not, but
so you're making history because I know you and your sisters are going to college, and that's making history. So I like to take on kind of what the sport is and putting it into my life. So yeah.
That's really very inspiring, Sancy. I love your words.
Thank you.
Okay, so for today's topic, we will first be starting on everyone here is an alumni for Presente, and we've all been in different cohorts. A lot. I can't pronounce her name. I'm so sorry. Can you say it one more time?
Yeah, it's Ergida.
Ergida. Sorry about that.
No
Ergida is an alumni from about 6 years ago. Jessica's from a year ago. I'm from 3 years ago, I think. And Santi, you are how long ago?
Like four years ago. I'm gonna say if you were 3, I'm around 4.
Yeah. So we're all from very, very different times. And okay, so first we're going to be talking about when. Oh, I just answered the first one. I was going to say when did we all join, but never mind. Okay, when we'll go in a circle. Maybe we'll go from Santi and then back around.
Okay.
What were your initial thoughts when joining Presente? What did you think it was going to be like?
So when Presente was brought to myself and my group of friends, they talked about leadership, and mainly it was focused on leadership. And I really didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into. And I think one of the clear things that kind of helped us go to the program was that we were actually getting paid, which I think maybe for all of us was somewhat of a big encouragement, because when you're in school, like, you're not really working. And so I had the thought of, like, I do want to learn leadership skills, and if they're paying me for it, it's even more of a why not, take advantage of the opportunity. So yeah, my thoughts were, I'm going to learn something and I'm going to learn to get paid. And I think that's great opportunities. If you find one, take advantage of that. That was my initial thought. What about you?
I actually like how you brought up about the money, because I think that's really like the main point. Like, that's kind of like an incentive for most people to just join. But my older sister first initially joined Presente before I did or Annalie did.
Okay.
And so she told me a bit about it, and she told me that we do like leadership roles and we enhance our communication skills. And they also told us that we're going to be involved in the community, so like advocacy and like community work. And so I thought that was great because I honestly needed to build my resume. And back then they would emphasize so much like you need to like do extracurriculars if you want to get into college. So I thought, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to just join this program. So that was like the main reason why I thought this was the program to be at for that moment.
I mean, the reason why I joined it was like for me to get out of the house and like do something productive instead of just staying home and like doing nothing the whole day. But part of it was also like seeing that we get paid for it. So I was like, okay, let me do it. Like, you know, and I always like take chances when it comes to opportunities. So I was like, okay, you know what, let me do it. And I'd say I actually really like the program just because I met new people.
I remember when I joined the program, it was at school. I remember they had a flyer of it. I don't know why you didn't join, but we like both saw it at the same time, but we joined different times.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I saw it in like the cafeteria room, and then one of the teachers was telling me to like just apply for it. They're like, "Oh, it's really fun." And then they were working with the Multicultural Center. They were a mentor, and then I just applied for it. That was like honestly why I applied for it. And I was like, "Oh, you get paid for it too, so like might as well do it." And I don't think I had like an initial idea of what it was. I just thought we were gonna like learn how to like enhance our leadership skills, and that's it.
Yeah, that was a big thing that they mentioned.
They mentioned it
over.
like leadership skills.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
My expectation was very unique because I didn't have a flyer to see. It was the coordinator back then came to our school, and one of the like what did she do? She like works with the bilingual students, and she saw and kind of said, "Oh, you guys are a good fit," and just kind of she threw us in there. And so we were just like, okay, we got interviewed. I don't know if you guys got interviewed. No?
I did not.
No? Really? Am I the only one who got interviewed?
no, I don't remember getting interviewed.
Yeah.
I had to be interviewed by his name was Claude, and Claude like went into our school. He had questions and we had to answer them, and he would write them down, and we had to go through an interview process to be a part of the Presente
I
program.
remember I just applied for it, and there's
really?
questions.
Yeah, that's how I...
Oh, maybe that's what's unique about it then. You guys had to answer.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. How would you describe your experience? I mean, because I'm not going to say like the interview process. I'm the only one who went through that. But how, like when you first started, what was your experience like? If you, I know it's been a long time, so we're going to, if you don't remember, it's okay.
So my personal experience at Presente was pretty interesting because I just joined automatically. I didn't necessarily have to do like an application process.
Oh,
which
really?
is pretty interesting. I think it was like the beginning of Presente, like just the beginning of it. And so I just joined, and I think it was really great because I met so many other people that also went to my school. And so like we were like kind of joining our ideas all together and just like going from there. But I really liked how Presente was literally taught us about our historical roots. And that was something that stuck to me the most, is that we learned more about that. And you don't necessarily learn that in school as much. Like they briefly speak about like Hispanic culture, but they don't go in depth as we did in this program. And so that's what I found really unique. And you don't necessarily know about this in college unless you're like a history major or like a public health major. So I think this was like really unique to me. And I actually noticed that there's like a correlation with that program and what I'm studying as of now as a human biology and society major.
Oh, really?
So it's kind of like an intersection of biology and public health. And so we kind of learn about like historical things that were occurring, like redlining, for example, and how like the effects of that is still prevalent in society, even though it was banned. And so like
what is redlining? I don't know that.
Redlining is sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Redlining is like when towns are like it's like segregation in a way, and they're redlined from like if you want to buy a property, the rates there are lower because they're redlined because like poor people live there. And then if you're like there's like redlining, then they have like the green area where it's like the rich area, and then if you buy a home there, you profit more off it, like with real estate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like you see like although redlining was kind of like banned or like it stopped, you kind of see those effects still as of now. Like there's people still in a certain area all combined. And like, for example, near freeways where they're more prevalent to like asthma or like health conditions. So like, that's why I find it really interesting. And that you could say it kind of like stemmed my spark of like wanting to be a human bio and society major because of this, because I'm really interested in like, you know, advocating for people and like really caring about public. You know, there's certain people that are like targeted and affected more than others. And that's what we learned in my major. And that's really what like brings everything together, I would say. Yeah.
I love that. So it gave you that little spark.
It did.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What about you?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, I was like, what is, if you could just describe your experience, what it could be when you started or the whole experience as a whole.
I mean, at first I'd say that I was very like nervous to go just because, I don't know, it was just something that I've never done before. But I think that the whole leadership thing actually like really helped me because I would get so nervous like going up and like presenting in front of like so many people. But because we did that a lot during Presente, it actually helped me like not be as nervous as I used to be. And I feel like a lot of kids there, like I knew them like from other schools and stuff. And like, but I didn't know them that well. But we did certain activities where like we learned more about each other. And like a lot of us like related to like similar things, which I really liked. But overall, the program was really nice.
Yeah. Do you want to go before? You can go.
My experience?
Yeah. I was gonna
well,
branch out.
I think mine was a whole lot different than all of yours. Mine was on Zoom. The entire
She
program.
had
It was during COVID.
the COVID experience.
Yeah, I had the COVID experience in which I fell asleep on 2
Bruh.
but I had Renee as my like teacher, and we learned a lot about like our cultural backgrounds, indigenous backgrounds, like indigenous healings. And one thing, I forgot what it was called, but it's like one thing that we did that like kind of like related to kind of what I'm doing in like psychology was we did what is it called? It was like the shadow work, and then we each watched a movie, and then we like defined the shadows, I forgot what it was, but something like that. But I really related to that. And yeah, but it was like totally different. I think if it was in person, I probably would have gained a little more of like that leadership skills or stuff like that. Cause I don't think I really gained that, but like it's understandable because it was on Zoom. We weren't like into breakout rooms or anything. It was just like the whole time it was really just like Renee talking. So like it wasn't too much interactive as much, but I did learn a lot. So
Yeah, I was gonna mention that the Presente program right now, which is the most recent one is what you had, versus what Ergida has, is very different. So the old curriculum was very focused on like indigenous roots, culture, embedded with leadership.
Yeah.
The new Presente program is focused on really those leadership skills and putting those really into practice. I think one thing that hasn't changed though is the fact that you are with a group of people who are there to learn about leadership. That has stayed the same. Which I want to hear a little bit more about what you remember with being in a group like that. I know you mentioned that you were nervous.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I can talk from my experience. I talk on the radio, but at school I have always been the quiet one. Like I won't raise my hand even if I know the answer to a question. I was never the type of girl to raise her hand. I'm like, I know the answer. If I was called on and I knew the answer, I'd still get nervous. And I never really did activities outside, like a sport or something. I was just really in my own little circle. So being part of that Presente program with different type of youth who in many ways shared similar background as me, meaning a Latina, first gen, or a non, I wasn't born here. So a lot of them had similar background as me. So I felt a bit more comfortable because they knew my own struggles. Yeah. So being in that group, it did push me a bit harder to answer the questions or the discussions that we had, and it took me out of my comfort zone, and it really did help me to do what I do now with Tay. But I'll hand it off to Ergida or Jess, whoever wants to answer first on your experience.
I do agree with you on that too. Like, it's more of like a community once you're like with these people that you just met at the first day. What you just mentioned, basically people were like first gens, Hispanic people, and like we were all eager to learn, right? And so it kind of felt like a community. We were really close. It felt so easy for me to speak with my colleagues, basically. And I would also agree. I am a pretty shy person, so so like that helped me like step out of my comfort zone, and especially doing like involving other people, like people of authority, and like speaking with people in the community. That's kind of like brought that, like kind of slightly broke that barrier of me like just being on my comfort zone, not really wanting to do anything, and then me just wanting to like do other stuff like outside of my comfort zone. And so that's what I really enjoyed about that, is that it kind of made me more of like, you would say, like an independent person to like speak for myself from there on.
Did it help you embrace a little bit more your background?
It definitely did.
Yeah?
Yes. I would say as of now, I'm more like proud to be Hispanic than I would say like when I was younger, just because like when you were younger, in my personal like point of view, I don't know about other people, but it was totally different, as in people would look at you differently, your color of skin or how you speak, or sometimes like you have like that little accent, I guess you could say, like when you're speaking English. And so it was totally different back then as of now. But I would say, yes, I'm more proud to be like a Guatemalan person.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
What was the question?
What was your experience being in a group with like the Presente?
I think that when it comes to like being in groups, I get really shy. Like I get really nervous, and it's like people that I don't know. But one thing that Presente did help me with was like when it came to like school and like having to like go up in front of the whole class, I would get so like scared. Like I would tell a teacher like I can't do it, like I don't want to do it, but they'd be like just do it, like, and I'm like no, like I can't, like this is like I can't, like, and I would like sometimes I would get to the point where I would just like freak out and like leave. But with Presente, like something that really helped me was like don't be scared, like, you know. And we would do like presentations during Presente, so that really helped me when it came to school. And like I have done like a few presentations in front of like people that I completely do not know. Like I don't know anyone, and it helped me practice to be more comfortable around people, just presenting, like whatever.
In my opinion, as I stated before, I didn't get that experience in the leadership role, or like to get out of my comfort zone, because I don't think we had to have our cameras on. So for the most part, people didn't have their cameras on. So like speaking was like pretty easy, and it wasn't like too nerve-wracking or anything. And when we did need to speak, and we did present like at the end something, but we didn't have to have our cameras on, so it was pretty easy. And I just learned a lot more about like my cultural background and how to embrace it more. And it's actually that program made me want to learn Spanish a little more, because my Spanish is not so good. And I think that's like a really important part of me that I should be improving on. And I'm still trying to improve on it. But yeah.
I love how we all have different like experiences and different perspectives on our experience with Presente. One of the biggest things for me, at least, was Renee used to always say that a good leader needs to be rooted very well with their roots. And I often didn't understand what that meant because I think whether you agree or not, but being in a different country than what your parents grew up in is very different. You have a very different experience. And you're starting to, I wouldn't say, I like to say that you're getting a whole other culture. So you have your background, but you're also getting new cultures because of living here in Marin. Like you experience other things from different cultures. So at times, like for me, I would kind of hide my Latina part because of my accent, because I did have a strong accent back then. And then and the food, like our food was I would eat different, like tortillas and very different from like my American. By American, I mean like people who were born here. Very different. So a lot of the times it was like, I guess I just have to like adapt here. But what I learned in Presente was no, you have to acknowledge where you came from. And if you like get new things along the way, that's okay. But a good leader needs to be rooted and remember where they're from and be proud of where they come from. So the fact that I was in a room, the majority of them were Latinos. It was really nice and I felt comfortable talking to them and I didn't even know them, like a couple of them. But I felt comfortable because I knew that they would understand my background and where I come from. That kind of empowered me to be more independent and really acknowledge like me being a Latina and with a background isn't making me weak, but rather it's a strength. Like I have so much power that holds on to it. So anyways, I'm going to pass it on to you.
Okay, how I mentioned that I kind of didn't learn the leadership's role and everything, and that was a challenge of mine. That I guess I'd say it was a challenge. I had to like kind of just like go around that in a way. And my question to you guys is, what challenges did you guys overcome during this program, and how did you overcome it? And Jess, you want to start first?
No. I gotta think about it.
Okay, we'll go to Santi.
Me, what challenges? Okay, one thing, and Jess might find it a bit different, but one of the things that from my Presente experience, they talked a lot about traumas. So how there was different type of traumas. There's your personal trauma, your cultural trauma, and like even the fact that there's a cultural trauma, if I'm saying that correct, meaning that you can be living in one country and you move to another, you have a trauma there. And what trauma means, it's like you have a whole change that affects you. For me, I learned that coming to the US was a big cultural shock for me and really embracing what that means. Like, which no one really likes or doesn't acknowledge often, that huge change, not just for me, but for my family. So for me, it was like, that did happen. Like I do acknowledge it now. Like coming here wasn't an easy transition that people play. Oh, you come here and then, oh, the land of opportunities. It is a land of opportunities, but you go through a lot. You have to learn the language, the food, you have to get used to a lot of things that you did different back in your culture. At least for me was, I had to learn that. And also certain little experiences that I've had that played a big factor in who I am today. And that I didn't understand that. So if something happened to you as a child, often how you are today has a connection with that. And often we don't know that there is a connection until you go back and acknowledge what happened to you and you acknowledge it and learn from it and you move on. You can be a stronger person and you can have better relationships. So for me, a challenge was really understanding that and overcoming a lot of them and being more clear and understanding that if someone treats me a certain way, sometimes it's not because that's just who they are, but something happened to them that caused them to be like that and to react like that. So it really helped me to understand that. That would be my experience.
I think for my challenge, it's kind of similar to yours too, because we learned in Presente about like how racism came to be and how people back then viewed people of color, and it's still brought into today's world, right? Like we still see like people how they treat other people certain ways because of how they are, like from where they from. And so it's kind of similar to you that like I didn't know about this. I was really young, so like you could say I was pretty ignorant, you could probably say, towards these things because I wasn't really aware of them. Like I was born here, like it's going to be totally different from your perspective as in a person that was come from a different country into the US. And so for me personally, like I was just ignorant about these things until David, which was our leader back then, he would like brought up about how people back then would consider us like animals, and those type of terms, like the terminology that they would use back then was so harsh. And for me, like taking that in was a lot. And I've like realized, wow, this is how our society is. And like, I felt like broken down because I was just like, this is not right whatsoever. And I did not like that. And then as you learn about the truth and you walk outside into the real world, you realize this is actually true. Like these are things that are happening, you know? And so for me, that was like overcoming that emotion of like knowing that there's this like barrier that's separating people, every single person, just because somebody back then just decided to say, you guys are not good enough and we are better and superior. And so that was one of the things for me that I had to overcome. And I felt like through community involvement and like surrounding myself with other people that are also probably in the same boat as me, like we were able to communicate how we felt, and doing advocacy was what kind of healed me because, you know, you're basically bringing a voice back to them, like giving that chance back to them and giving that opportunity to like express themselves, because back then and probably till today, there's not a lot of people expressing themselves because there's a language barrier, or there's certain like certain barriers out there that are just not allowing people to like express what they really need. And so I think just being involved with other people in the same boat as you, communicating and expressing yourself and being involved, trying to make a change, because if you didn't like it, obviously you're going to work for it and like create a solution for that issue that you see, right? And so I remember back then in high school, we had to like talk about an issue in my history class, like talk about an issue that like was really prevalent for you, or like what you really thought was important. And for me was like Hispanic people, and like how we weren't really necessarily viewed as like any regular person. We were more like farm workers, you would say, and like they would have all these stereotypes about like, oh, you're not good enough, I don't think you would do great in college, I think you will just like work in like, you know, just these common stereotypes of Hispanic people. And I remember painting a whole poster bigger and drawed a woman and with her typical clothing, you know, like with florals and I remember writing on there, we are humans too, because I wanted people to acknowledge that we're not any more different from you. We're basically the same. We're humans. We got flesh. We got bones. We got the same system. And I just wanted to have that message come across. And so for me, it was just basically doing active work out there and like speaking about these things, you know, like that's, I feel like that's the way I could heal.
I like that. Interesting. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
I really liked what you just talked about, but I don't have any challenges that I faced during the program.
That's good. Also good.
Yeah.
Also good.
I remember how you mentioned the traumas. I learned about that too. The traumas. We had the same Renee, right?
Yeah, Renee.
Did you have Renee, Jess?
I mean, I had him like last year, but I don't remember anything.
You had him for a semester, right? And then it was a different person?
Yeah, and then it was...
I think it was Sochi after.
Yeah, her.
Oh, yeah. I remember learning about our traumas as well. And I remember the way Renee would teach us these things. I remember because I would do it in my room and just like on my computer. And I remember thinking, and he would like be talking, and I'm like, I relate to this so much. And then being like, wow, I like actually, he's like, because he would say things like, you might not think it's a trauma with like cultural background. You might not think it affects you. Like I never had thought that because of my cultural background, it's going to affect me, or like the, what is it? The systemic, how it keeps going. What is the word? I remember there's a word for it. You know, how generational trauma. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never knew that generational trauma was an actual thing until I started to deeply think about it within the program. And it just, this isn't a challenge, but it just helped me like analyze my life and be like, okay, this is where this comes from. This is like why I might act this way, and like how can I fix this within myself.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a big one for me, that okay, I do, wow, like I relate with what you're saying. How do I fix that so that it's like a chain, right? It keeps going and going and going in generations until one of us breaks it. And so my question I always asked, man, I have to break that. And so earlier we were talking about like your first to go to college, you broke that. You and your sisters broke that. So there's a lot of things. I wanted to touch on your public speaking. You said that that was a challenge before you went in. What type of public speaking did you do and presented that like broke off that fear of public speaking?
Well, we did a presentation about, I can't really remember what it was about, but it was like me and one of the kids in the program, and we had to go up in front of like all of the other ones, and we had to make our poster and like talk about, I don't remember what it is though. But we had to talk about the differences and like the similarities about the topic we're talking about. And when I got up there, I like looked at everyone and I was like, bro, I was like when it comes to like people like that I don't know. I mean, I knew some people, but most of them I didn't know. I knew like 3 of them out of like 10. But I was just really like nervous. And like the person I was working with, I was like, bro, like I can't do this. I was like, can you do it yourself? And then she was like, no, like, and the uncle was like, you have to do it. And whenever I would like he would talk to me about like, when you're public speaking, like look at them. Like they're not there to like judge you, you know? It's like, just talk. But I'm getting nervous right now.
I feel like a good thing to do if you're nervous is like, if there's like a group of people, just look like in between them, like towards the wall.
Yeah.
Like don't look at them, just like in between them. Yeah. So then it's like you're not looking at them.
Yeah.
Or like another thing, but I doubt anyone does this. Like think of them as being naked. Have you heard that?
Yeah, I've heard people say that.
I would get even more nervous.
Like look at the audience and just think of them being naked. Yeah. Oh, you've always heard that.
Really? I've never heard that.
Okay, never mind. Okay, yeah.
There's a lot of I never really did a presentation in Presente. And now that I think about it, we did a lot of conversation stuff, which Renee would always encourage us to be curious.
Yeah.
So he would tell us something and he'd say, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm giving you facts. But your job is to be curious, ask questions. Because the more you ask, the more you'll get informed. And the more you're informed, it's harder for people to bring you down because you're informed. So, yeah. I do want to go into our PSAs and then we'll continue the conversation. So open mic night is every last Friday of every month. And our newly revamped Presente leadership program provides opportunities for youth ages 15 to 21 to develop leadership skills, discover their individual strengths, and explore potential career paths. We focus on a 3-month skill-based training and mentoring, academic support, and civic engagement. This program is followed by a 6-month field placement, internship, job, and volunteer work. This helps participants gain practical experiences and leadership roles within the community. Topics that the program covers are public speaking, communication, self-care, financial literacy, resume workshop, interview prep, and much more. a stipend of 1,500 broke down to 750 after completion of each semester. They'll receive elective credits for school based on hours. If you're interested in the Presente program, which we've kind of been sharing our experiences, the application is open, and you can find it at multiculturalmarin.org /Presente. Now, that is all my PSAs that I have for today.
There's an alumni.
Yeah, and then we're gonna be moving on to.
That's a PSA.
PSA. Never mind. I got a little bit confused, but the primary. So we have the Presente alumni program opening up, and I'm gonna read a little bit of the description, and then we're gonna talk about it later. The primary purpose of the Presente alumni program is to provide fellowship graduates an opportunity to further their engagement as contributing members of their community in their roles as leaders, advocates, and helpers. This will be placing them in volunteer, internship, or jobs tailored to their interests or career goals. This program is stipend for completing the program, similar to the Presente program. You will be checking in with your mentor, who is Annalie Reyes, in person or virtual every month to check in with your progress and if you need assistance in the current internship program, whatever you're involved in. If you are a Presente alumni and have not received an email with the application due to having a new phone number or email, please contact Annalie at her email at areyes@multiculturalmarin.org, she's the coordinator for the Presente alumni program, by the way, which was a huge round of applause for Annalie. So much words to read. But yes, so if you're an alumni for the Presente program, this program is actually really interesting because after you complete the Presente program, it doesn't end there. So, for example, if you had an interest in public health, Annalie will support you and do research for you to find opportunities that you can actually go in and practice that field. For example, in my case, I'm really into the arts, photography, film. So if I wanted to sign up for the alumni program, her and I would be working on to find an internship or a job that is related to that, so that I can use what I learned in the Presente program on hands. Mm-hmm. So, which is an exciting thing that's going on for the alumni program. Do you want to add anything else?
I have a question. Well, I don't know if you know exactly. So I know the new Presente program is a little different, how they are more focused on leadership, and how for the first semester, I heard they're just working on advocacy skills and something else, but they're working towards that in the beginning, and they're getting taught how to do all those things. And in the second semester, they're placed somewhere, and that's where they go to apply it. And they don't learn much about cultural backgrounds, how we did. So since we are alumni, and if we apply to the alumni program, it won't be anything based on what we learned about cultural backgrounds. It'd just be whatever we are interested in is where we will potentially be placed, right?
From my understanding, and Annalie is in the background, so she'll nod at me if I'm saying this right. So based on what you learned on Presente as a Presente alumni, her goal is to be able to provide opportunities for the alumni, alumni. So in this case, you're into public health. So if you, public health?
Nursing, but similar.
Nursing. So Annalie and you will work on finding a job or internship that is focused on your career goal path.
Okay, so it doesn't really have to do with our culture background or anything. It's
no,
just do with okay.
It's based because you finished the program, okay. you are in a part of this network now, where you will build on there. And so the goal is for you guys to build on. And so in this case, Jess, she's not in college yet, but she goes into an internship. And let's say, what are you interested in actually? I'll give an example.
Psychology.
If there's something that's around psychology or in the field similar, she'll be placed in there. And so when she applies to college, they ask her, hey, what have you been doing? She can put that there. It helps her out. And for those who are older, in this case for Ergida, if she's studying in UCLA, she graduates and she's looking for a job, and let's say she comes back to Marin, she'll work with Annalie saying, I'm looking for I just graduate, this is what I have. She'll look, in this case would be more of a job, right? An example, a job, but if she wanted to do an internship as well. And so she would be placed in one of those. Now, the difference is you're not alone. So you're part of that job or internship, and Annalie is going to be the mentor. So you'll check in with her and say, look, I like the program, it's going well. But in case it doesn't, that's why you have Annalie. Annalie will make sure that you're comfortable, safe, and if something goes wrong with your internship, you're going to be removed and placed into another one that fits you. So it's not like you're there, you can't leave. We'll put you there. If it works out for you, great. If it doesn't, we'll find something that fits you individually. Nod your head if I said that right. So she said yes. All right. With that being said, do you guys have any suggestions or questions about the Presente alumni program?
No.
I don't, but you basically mentioned everything that I would say for like improving Presente.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's really a great
Improving Presente, that's a good thing. So let's start there. If you would improve Presente, what would you want more of? And this is your moment, because Diego could be listening, and then he can take.
He should be listening.
he can improve it.
I don't know. I feel like the way that it is now, it's pretty improved.
Yeah.
And I feel like what we learned, like with our culture backgrounds, I feel like that should still be implemented, just because it's a really significant thing within our cultures, and most students are Hispanic. So I feel like that should be applied for maybe like a quarter of it, because I know it's like a semester that they're like just learning everything, and then they go another semester to go do everything, and I don't think it's going to take up like that much of time, you know? So I feel like in like certain like every other, because I think it's like twice a week that they go, maybe like one day they can have like everything for like leadership, and then the next day learn about their culture background and stuff like that, because I think it's a really big important part, and I know they took it out, but I think that
Did they take it out? Do you guys learn anything about your roots, culture? No?
Yeah.
So they completely took that out.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
yeah, that's what Diango told me. That's what I'm saying. They should still have it.
What do you think about that? Should they still have it?
I personally think they should, just like a part of it. I think they should also like focus on, to be honest, I do not know like what is the current curriculum for Presente, but
Yeah, I don't know it much either.
my year was we did focus a lot on like cultural and historical backgrounds, but I would say, I honestly can't add on to this, but I would just say more of like projects that you could do involving in the community, like that is really great. I think a lot of colleges, for those who are planning to like join as a high schooler, I think doing community involvement is the way to go. And like volunteering, I think they care more about that, and I think that would really add a bit more to the resume. But
Wait, Jess, did you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
I'm
fine.
Sorry. Did I cut you off?
no, I'm done.
Wait, I think Jess, you mentioned this to me. Did you guys do community involvement or no? Like, did you guys go out and do community work?
No, we did not.
You didn't? Oh. Wait, were you and Em in the same cohort?
No, we weren't.
Oh, yeah. Wait, okay.
It was different.
You were in 2022, right? Or last year?
I was.
When did you finish?
I just finished recently.
In spring?
Yeah.
You just graduated,
Wait,
right?
then how come? But you weren't with Emmeline?
No, I wasn't.
But she did Presente last spring.
I did it early March.
I think they're different cohorts.
Yeah, there were different.
Oh,
cohorts.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay, because I remember, okay, so it wasn't you. Sorry. I remember Emmeline had mentioned to me that they would go out and Diango would take them in the van and they'd go do community work, but I wasn't exactly sure. That's why I was asking you if you
Yeah,
guys
we
did.
didn't do that.
Because I know that Emmeline's cohort did. I think hers is after hers. That's
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I would say this is really focused on leadership. The new Presente is really focused on leadership, and I really liked the cultural, the trauma part, because I think it's crucial to be a good leader, because a lot of things that, like I mentioned, a lot of things that how we react, who we are, is based on our background, and we often don't know that. But once you are knowledgeable about it, you can do something about it, and you can be a better. You can use it as your advantage to become a better leader. So, I don't know if they still have that. You said they don't, so I would encourage that to come back. But again, I do love the new program. I think what you guys are doing. For example, the financial literacy we had here, I think that was super important to have. I think it was maybe the first, I'm not sure.
That was hosted by Presente. I came.
Yeah, and it invited the doors to other youth who were not part of Presente, and basically talked about like, how does a bank account work, a credit card, how do you open one? And I think that's super crucial. Things that we should be learning at school, but we don't learn at school. So I love that they added that. The self-care, one of the topics that they covers is self-care. What was the self-care like?
I mean, they gave us like a piece of paper, and we wrote one of our goals that was like self-care type of topic, and you like talked about when you wanted to start and when you like what would you do to like do that.
Okay.
Like imagine they would like go to sleep early. Like set an alarm when you go to sleep, like just turn off all your like phones, like, and just go to sleep. Like it would just be a topic that you want to be like improve on, like self-care type. And then it was basically just that, like self-care.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What about the resume workshop? How was that? Did you guys have one?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. It did help me on like, because I didn't know at first. I didn't know what a resume was, since I've never really like looked into like a job like that. But it really helped me like, because I recently did a resume, so it helped.
Her resume
me, like,
looks nice too. I looked at it
because I really like it really taught me how to like what to put in it, like what it was for you, and like it just really helped me.
That's good. I think that's really important too, especially after you graduate. Even during when you graduate, you're looking for jobs, and the resume is really important. Interview prep. The new curriculum has interview prep, public speaking, communication, which are all really, really important when we talk about the concept of being a leader, because you need all of that. You need to know how to communicate. And I love how they revamped this and added a little bit of everything so that it can help you.
Yeah.
Wait, I wanted to mention something because I just had realized this. You did Career Explorers. I did Career Explorers.
Oh yeah, we did at the same time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning that we both did Career Explorers. It's a county internship. And a lot of this is super related to what that internship is. And it's a summer internship. It's only in the summer. It's not a year long. But some internships can go longer if they want to keep you for longer. But basically, it's kind of actually how this new Presente program is. Like, you learn, we get interview preps, we get to speak with supervisors of the County of Marin. They interview us and they decide where we get placed, and we give them our options. They give us like a list, and then we choose which one we want to go into. Like, we want to work with the Department of Public Health. I worked with the Marin Office of Equity, and you worked with
Public Health.
She worked with Public Health. And you do that, you get interview prep, and then we all like dress like really nice, and then we go in to our individual rooms, and we get interviewed by like 3 or 4 of them. And they, after like, I don't know how long it took for us to like actually get placed.
It was like a week.
Yeah, I think it was like a week. And then we ended up getting placed on one of our options, and then they take in like a few people, and some people were like assistants for like some of the supervisors. And it kind of like reminds me of this. It's a little different though, but because you get to place anywhere in this program, but that one's just all main like county jobs. And I just wanted to mention that because it just like rang a bell and was like, oh, this is kind of similar to that. But yeah,
I want to pitch an idea, which is something that I have been wanting, and a goal that I hope Presente has, which is a platform where, whether it's its own website or however, where you can have a lot of like where jobs can be posted, and so that's exclusive to alumni program. I mean, alumni,
Like
where
summer search.
yeah. So I have something similar because I was part of a program, and I can go in there and I can network with all the alumni, and I can chat with them, I can talk to them, and a lot of them, if they have job openings wherever they're working, they'll upload it there, the job description, everything, and you can like find jobs, internships in different locations. Something that I hope we have with Presente, and I don't know if you guys would find it useful, where resources are put up there, and so you can go there and like find it. For example, in my case, as a summer search alumni, if I wanted to do a resume, I can go and search up resume, and they have like templates for resume, information on how to make a resume, and like all of that information. Something I hope Presente has moving forward. Annalie, I'm letting you know.
I think that I would really use that because like I'm really involved with the multicultural center, so it's something I think I'd turn to and be like, oh, I'm gonna look it up, or like see if they have this. I think that would be really useful for a lot of students. And then if like just like people like people who work here like just post like things that they know about onto it so that other students know about it.
It's more of a network.
Yeah, I think it'd be really good. I'd personally use it too.
All right. Well, I'm glad you guys. What do you think about it?
First off, I just want to say, like, wow, that is crazy how much Presente has improved based off of what you just mentioned, of like what the curriculum is as of now. It's really amazing. I think that's really helpful, knowing that you guys are doing way more than what we did back then, and it's more targeted for like modern day, like things that are more useful. And so I think that is a great idea, having resources like posted on a website, like jobs, internships, volunteer work, because that really builds you up as a person, so then you could be prepared for the work field out there. And so I think that's really amazing. I think you should definitely add it.
Yeah, I've that's a goal personally that I hope to have with the. I mean, I'm not very involved with the Presente program, but if they ask me, like, I try to like, hey, this is what I think would be useful, because I don't know, I feel like we don't have one in Marin specifically, or maybe I don't know any program like that where you can go as an alumni and search something up, and it can be useful for not just for a small period of a time, but like in general, you can always go back and and use it. So yeah, anything else you guys want to add? I do have, out of curiosity, what did you guys do with your money? I'm curious.
Probably spent it on clothes, to be honest. I don't know.
I don't recall.
You don't remember?
I just remember depositing it. Probably like paying some bills. I don't know.
I bought cats.
You bought cats?
Wait, that's what you spent your money on?
Yeah.
Really?
Like half of it. And then the rest, I think I gave some money to my mom. And then the rest I just saved up to my savings.
That's nice. I was just curious. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's funny. Cats.
Oh, I have a question. Will you guys be joining the alumni program? Well, I know you can't, but
Yeah.
will you be joining?
Yes, sir.
What?
When? I was going to ask, when are applications due? Because I know they're due, but Annalie had mentioned to me that she might extend it.
So the new deadline, and I can pull it up in a minute. On Monday.
This Monday?
Yes, and
Why
I'm
so soon?
if you want to sign up for the alumni program, you have to email Annalie. But so the application is due Monday at 11:59 p.m. So technically before midnight on Tuesday.
I've done half the application.
Yeah. And so the application really is going to ask you questions about your interests, and ask you to submit a resume.
Yeah, it does.
It asks you to submit a
Did you already
resume.
apply?
I'm doing it right now.
It takes about 25 minutes. And the reason why it takes about 25 minutes, I know people don't like spending too much time, because it asks you about your personal interest. As a reminder, this is a place where they're going to place you for your goals and your career paths. So they really want to get to know you and customize your experience. So not just let's get all the applications, and we're gonna put you into a random job or internship. It's really customized to Jess. If Jess says, like, it doesn't make sense if you put something about public health and I, like, we decide to put you in, by we, I mean Annalie, we decide to put you in, I don't know, into, let me think, a photography class. So it's very customizable. So if it takes you 25 minutes, know that's for a reason and not just because.
Yeah.
And we do have 3 minutes left. Is there... never mind.
Okay, what?
Scratch that. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm excited for this program. I didn't actually know too much about it, but you kind of in the PSA explained a lot of what it was, and Annalie's going to do a great job.
Yeah, so you're going to be checking in one-on-one with her. Have you met Annalie?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so you'll be checking in with her, which is really, she's an amazing person. She has so much knowledge, and she's gone through the Presente program itself. And so, which is really cool that someone who's been part of Presente is, coordinating the alumni program. Yeah. So it's not just someone who came in and doesn't know. So, and she's really young, so you can relate to her. And aside from that, I want to thank you guys for joining and really sharing your experiences. I know it's been very different, and I'm happy that you have heard a little bit of the transition and that we've been doing good. I know that Diango, Annalie, and the whole team has been really working hard for this program to continue moving forward and just making it better and better each time. So from 6 years ago to now, we've come so far, and hopefully it continues on and on, because it does serve a unique youth. The youth that are. It's really nice because I've seen the Presente students come in and they go. Some of them went to Davidson and did tutoring. Yeah, they did tutoring, and then some of them have been able to go to like Giants game and like go to kayaking, biking, which is really nice. Yeah. Did you go to any of the biking or kayaking recently?
Yeah, I did.
Where did you go?
China Camp
For the bike ride?
Yeah.
Did you go to the kayaking yesterday?
No.
There's kayaking?
For real, bro. Why don't they
tell us? They never tell us anything. I don't know. I'm sorry, but they kind of SUCK at communicating with us.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. That's PG-13. They really don't communicate with us well. Like I don't know.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's conversation to improve.
I need to talk to Diango.
Yeah, but a lot of the Presente alumni, it's like they'll have the opportunity to join on these awesome trips where they take you, and it's really nice.
But they don't tell us.
I didn't. I didn't go to the kayaking. I was invited for it, but it seemed really... I like how they take the youth out.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is so important. Mm-hmm. I actually spoke with two former... who just graduated, I think, with you downstairs. Mm-hmm. And I asked them about, their kayaking experience. And one of the girls said, I would just like to do something during summer and not be stuck at home. And so if you're looking for, an opportunity to do things outside, like this, it's part of the Presente program. Like, they'll have small trips that you can be a part of. With that being said, now we do actually have 2 minutes. I want to just give you guys the time. What is an advice or something you want to say to the youth before we end the show?
I would like to say to the youth to take on every opportunity that's given to them. Like, there's so many opportunities out there, and scholarships, internships, volunteer work, that I think that's a really great opportunity to build yourself as a person into the person that you would like to be in the future. And I think Presente Alumni and Presente, I think that's a really great program to join. And so if people have the opportunity to do so, I would say hop on.
Yeah. I'd say to the youth, YOLO, because just take your chances, that comes your way. Mm-hmm. And I'd really recommend the Career Explorers.
Yeah. That's also a great program. Okay. I would say, as you mentioned, go for it. Go for any opportunity that comes your way. You might not have it again. And if you don't like it, you can just stop. So you don't have to stay fully committed to one thing. And just know that there are resources out there for you. And if you don't know where to look, just ask someone. And yeah.
I agree with that. I think this is a perfect time for all of us to explore, to learn what we like, what we don't like. You don't have to set on anything. And often we're told like you have to have everything figured out. Not true. You're more than welcome to explore and see all the opportunities out there. Try them out. You never know what can come out of it. And my advice is, yeah, take advantage of the opportunities that show up to you. And if you want to learn more about the Presente program, DM us and we'll be able to help you.